This is not a review of a pair of boots. This is just a video showing how a reasonably good pair of boots became a great pair of boots. How you going? Welcome to Bootlosophy, and my name is Teg. I'm filming on Wajak country in Nungabuja. Now, I have reviewed these old pair of boots before. I had a pair, not these, that I had, probably about 15, 20 years ago now, maybe even a bit longer. These are the R M Williams Stockyard boot, not the Mark Newson rubbishy, fashion colored things, but a proper Stockyard boot. And you can go and see my original review of these, where I called these Blundstone Killers, except that at the time that I recorded that even, a couple of years ago, they were already dead because R M Williams had discontinued them. They were, in fact, cement construction boots. They had a TPU sole that was glued on. And my very first pair, the sole tore off both boots after being repaired as well. So they tore off twice off both boots. And eventually I basically, this is before I knew about heritage boots and stitching and all that, I had them thrown away. However, I found these on eBay because those boots were so comfortable. I really wanted another pair. And I bought them off eBay, lightly used in the original TPU sole. And bugger me, if not within the first month, the right sole tore off my right boot. I took them to my usual cobbler in Wembley, Wembley Shoe Repairs, and they stuck them back on for me, but they said, look, these are really rather poorly made and they're not going to last. So the next thing I did was, separately, I went to Wootton's in Ballarat, looked at their workshop, talked to Jess, and ordered a pair of boots, which you will see or have seen, depending on which way around these videos come out. And Jess told me about a boot repair shop in South Australia called Blackwood Shoe Repairs. The owner, Jon Head, Jonhead, is on Instagram as @JonHead. So I contacted Jon and I said, look, I've got these old pair of Stockyard boots and I absolutely love them, but they have crap soles, they're crap construction. What can you do? He said, send them over. So what he did when he assessed them was to put on basically a rand. Look, let him explain.
Okay, Take, we've got your R M Williams boots here that we're about to resole for you. In fact, we've already made a good start on these. So this is the Stockyard boot from RM's, and they come originally with these moulded soles, so very easy to dismantle. Literally, they just peel straight off. Yeah, not much of a sole, to be honest. They're not like a normal R M Williams boot where they're a welted construction. So we're going to do what's called a rapid Blake stitch construction for you. And the first thing we've done is just to put this rounding on around the edge. So this is like a trim that is stuck on around the edge for you. Once the midsole goes on, the midsole will be blaked through into the inner sole. And then when we put the outer sole on, we're going to do an outsole stitch through that rounding, through the midsole, and then through your new sole. So by the time we're finished, it's going to have a double stitch construction for you. And there'll be, a lot more of a robust boot. So anyway, that's the first stage there. So we've done the rounding around the edge. Next step is to fill these small cavities with some cork filler, and then we'll get on to the midsole. Okay, so we're at the next stage now. So we've done our cork filler to level everything off. Our leather midsole is in place. We're just giving it a rough trim and just a very shallow channel there for no other reason, just to give me something to follow, basically. The midsole's fairly thin, so we don't want to channel too deep, otherwise we're going to weaken that midsole. Anyway, we're ready to stitch on the blaker, so we'll film that. that's the midsole blaked into place, so that stitching comes up through the insole inside the shoe. Now that that's been done, we can set about getting the outsoles into place, and then that's going to be stitched through the randing, through the midsole, and then through the outsole. So we'll bring you back when we're ready to do that. This is about 13 millimetres, or just over half an inch in the old money. When we stitched your midsole on, that was done on this machine here, which is our Blake stitcher. But this stitch we're about to do now, we're going to change over to our outsole stitcher, and we're going to stitch all these 3 layers together. So let's give that a crack, see how we go. Okay, there we go. So we've used a rust-coloured stitch underneath and a white stitch on top, and that's just to tie in with your pull tabs. You can see it's got the white embroidery and the tan-coloured tabs. So we've taken some inspiration from the R M Williams pull tabs. So there we go. So now we're at the stage. Oh, you can see too, we've pre-scoured where the heel goes, so now we don't have to worry about scouring that up. Obviously, we don't want to stitch and then have to scour, so we've scoured already for your heel blocks. And that's our next step now, is to start building up a stacked leather heel block for you, and then we'll do a rubber top piece, do a final trim polish, and they'll be ready to send back to you. All right, take. There we go. The job's all done. Just to go over it again, we've done a randing around the edge, a faux welt, I guess you could call that. Then a leather midsole, which has been Blake stitched through the inner sole. Then your rubber sole over the top, and those 3 layers in turn have been stitched together. Once they're done, then we've got our stacked leather heel block. We've got 3 layers of leather there for you. Pat-filled rubber top piece to finish off the heel block, and just a good polish and tidy up, and they're ready to hit the road again. So a double stitch construction is what's called a rapid Blake stitch construction. Yeah, just a far better put together boot now than those original stuck on soles. All right, there we go. We'll get these in the post for you, Take, and you should have them back on your feet very soon. Thanks, mate.
So there you go. And the finished product, I have to say, is magnificent. It's heavier than the original boot because the sole construction is made of leather in the midsole, a heavy leather stack heel, much better than the one-piece rubber product that came originally. And as you can see, it's a magnificent product. You can see the white stitching that Jon talked about and the tan stitching underneath to go with the white and tan pull-up label. It's just lovely. I have one complaint, Jon. These were a nice matte color and you've polished them up so well. I kind of think I'm going to have to dirty them again. But I totally appreciated Jon's work. And I'm so pleased that we have a cobbler here in Perth who can do this, here in Australia, who can do this sort of thing, equivalent to the cobblers that you see in America. So if you're interested, Instagram, Jon Head, Blackwood Boot and Shoe Repairs in the suburb of Blackwood, just south of Adelaide. Go check him out. And in the meantime, Don't forget to click on like and subscribe, and take care of yourselves out there, and I'll see you again soon.